Affirmative. Hearing none, the motion carries. This takes us to 8.4, delegation from Emily Thon Xavier, Director of the Brampton Tamil Association, regarding item 12.4, Committee of Council Recommendation CW041 2021 Tamil Community in Brampton. Welcome, Emily Thon. And for the purpose of this delegation, do I have council's support to move up the motion on this? Or Peter Fay, can you give us any direction on that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's appropriate if that's the will of council. I believe after the delegation, Councillor Medeiros may have an amendment to that motion from committee last week. So Councillor Medeiros can introduce it after the delegation.
Okay. Great. Okay. Emily Thon.
Thank you, Chair. Mayor Brown. Good morning. It's a great pleasure for me, American Xavier, to be here with you today as the Director of the Brampton Tamil Association and the founder member of and the advisor of the Brampton Tamil Senior Association. I am delighted to present their message to you. As a primary Tamil organization representing the Brampton Tamils, we are extending our heartfelt gratitude to Mayor Brown for his leadership, Regional Councillor Martin Meadows for the listening the concern of the community, and the presenting the motion, Regional Councillor Pat Fortney and Ruby Dillon for assisting on the motion, Regional Councillors Michael Palachi, Paul Wins, City Councillor Doug Willens, Jeff Foreman, Chairman William, Rona Sanders, and Harkat Singh for extending your unwavering anonymous support. At this juncture, your timely action and the anonymous consent to the motion is a great moral and mental relief to all of us in the community, particularly for the Tamil seniors who are already in the receiving end of the pandemic and the winter. Your action is a great relief and the booster to them all. For your continuous close association, love, and support to the Brampton Tamil community, you all will always be in our heart. Following your motion, we established a special committee to work with the city. We formulate a clear action plan to complete the Tamil Genocide Monument project the best way as possible and make not only the Tamil community and the city council proud, but also the entire Bramptonian feel proud. As we made it clear, the community will bear the entire cost of the monument, which we strongly feel is the appropriate way to do it. We are assembling all the expertise and the resources in the community to showcase this as a model where we all can work together and build a better society, listening and respecting each other where equality, peace, and harmony can exist. It will be a lesson not only to the Sri Lankan government, but all authoritarian government around the globe. No one can erase or destroy genocidal history. We are also happy to share with you that 80 million Tamils around the world now know Brampton City and its council, and they too expresses their gratitude to you all. We, the Brampton Tamils, feel proud and stand tall because of you. As a nation of the people face the 21st century genocide and still facing oppression and untold suffering every day, as their family members, we find same peace because of you. We did suggest one change in the original motion as the Councillor Martin Meadows presented today. Name it as Tamil Genocide Memorial Monument. Please, and give your same anonymous support and move it to the city to implementation. Our team will start working with them from there onward. Thank you for all opportunity to present this ourselves here today. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Emily Thon, and with council's indulgence, we can move the motion forward. I don't see any opposition to that in the chat box. So to the clerk, can we put the motion on the screen?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we'll bring it up momentarily. Charlotte, there's the revised motion from Councillor Medeiros from this morning. There we go. And Councillor Medeiros will have to introduce this amendment to the committee recommendation.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask Councillor Medeiros, who I've spoken to about this. There's no, as I see it, perfect. In the amended motion, you mentioned genocide, because I know for the community it's very important we state that a genocide happened, and so I think Councilor Medeiros' amendments are perfect and express the wish of the community. So we have a number of speakers. We've got Councilor, we got Councilor Medeiros, then Vicente, then Dillon, then Fertini. So Councilor Medeiros first.
Yeah, and thank you through you, Mayor. Thank you, Amal, for coming forward. Thank you to the Brampton Tamil community, and certainly, your sort of friendship and guidance. And, really, I don't want to speak on behalf of council, because I do know other colleagues are going to speak. But I think all of us, we share collective respect and a real sort of dignity, and we reflected on this issue. And I do want to recognize Mayor Brown's leadership on this issue and his involvement. I do know I did receive contacts also from the National Council of Canadian Tamils. Mayor Brown did speak with me on some of the suggested language, and I know that was very aligned with what you brought forward, Amal. I think there's just one thing I'd like to ask you directly, Amal, in terms of, this is going to be 100% funded by the community. And you talked about all this, and I've been impressed with all this impact that's even gone beyond our borders. But if you can speak to me how important it is to the local Brampton community, the Tamil community, and what has been some of the feedback.
The community is well energized, and they're supporting for the more motion in the bill for the monument. So most of the business people want to put their own, they want to see, they want to contribute it. Most of the people want their own contribution, so they want to build their own. So be proud, we can build whatever the cost for the monument, one of the best.
Yeah, and that's great. And the only direction I would provide staff, and I recall we had a discussion, and I'm not sure if this was in previous council or the first couple of years of this current council, where we talked about that Brampton really lacked monuments and places of reference. And I think as part of the 2040 vision, we identified sort of, the need for, more monuments, places where if people came from outside of Brampton, where would they go take pictures? Essentially, we always see sort of City Hall, we see sort of, some other sort of references in the city, the gazebo, etc. But I think this has to be aligned with an overall strategy, because I do know other community groups may come forward with sort of different ideas. And so, as much as that this is impacting the specific, Brampton community and the community at large, and it's something that is really, from the intention we're getting, it's really going to be celebrated, and we want to make this important. But we also want to have it sort of aligned and part of an overall strategy, which is for Brampton to have these type of, monuments and opportunities for other groups to come forward. And we, think of the Legion with their sort of dedication, a monument, what they want to build. And these type of things really help generate this excitement and help, for example, our tourism strategy. But again, thank you, Amal, for your advocacy. And, I really want this to be locally driven. This is really the Tamil community in Brampton that's really going to drive it. But it's exciting to hear that outside groups across the GTA and everyone is excited and really supportive as well. And who knows, maybe we'll see other municipalities come forward and do the same thing. So again, thank you, Amal. Thank you, Mayor Brown, for making those suggested amendments and aligning with the Brampton community. And thank you all members of council, because I don't think any of us really understood the impact this would have, and all of us should be proud of this moment of really taking a stand and following the mayor's leadership in supporting this. So I thank you, everyone, and thank you, Amal, again.
Thank you.
Our next question is Councillor Vicente.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I just want to briefly congratulate you, Amal, and everyone at the Brampton Tamils Association and the Seniors Association for the incredible work that you do here in the city of Brampton to increase awareness in the community of this very historic and moment that should be remembered and should not be forgotten. I'd like to note to members of council that in the past, as I was a member of the board of Carabram, Amal and his team did an amazing pavilion that so well represented the Tamil community here in the city of Brampton, and really provided a very strong educational piece at the pavilion, as well as the cultural and the food, etc. But the educational piece that was presented at the Elam Pavilion was nothing short of incredible. And so, Amal, I just want to thank you for continuing to do this work, and thank you, Councillor Medeiros and the Mayor, for bringing this forward and for supporting this, and to all of Council for their support of Tamils here in the city of Brampton, and for your organization, Amal. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you, Paul.
Our next question is Councillor Dillon.
Thank you so much, and I think a lot of the people speaking before me have, said a lot of what I wanted to say, and I've been familiar with the issue going on in Sri Lanka with the Tamil people for about 30 years, actually, since I was a young middle school student, and where I had a group of Tamil friends I was with, and so I've been educated since then. I've done a number of projects on it, even in school, and so I've come to learn the greatness of the Tamil people, their perseverance throughout so much struggle, and about their contribution they made to Brampton, to Ontario, and to Canada. And Amal, you've been a key person leading the way. So I want to thank you for your assistance in this, and I want to thank Councillor Medeiros for bringing this forward as well. I just want to say, over the past few years, I've seen Brampton change for the better. We've always had a diverse city, and we're really recognizing all the contributions of our diverse population. And so, if you kind of know the history of some of the towns and cities in Ontario, including Brampton, it was named from the place where the people first settled from. And so, we're continuing that tradition, and we're the places that we're from originally, things that are important to us. We're building monuments, we're naming streets, we're erecting some of these monuments to educate people, and to make sure that we don't forget and we continue to remember what happened. For example, we had Kamagara Maru Park a couple of years ago, which was supported by the entire community because it represented Canada, but it also represented Brampton as that light, that beacon that people are aiming to come to from all over the world. And so this is just a continuation of what we've been seeing for the past couple of years. And I want to thank our council for being very progressive as well in this matter. So definitely support this. I want to thank Councilor Medeiros, Amal, you and the entire Tamil community, and for the entire Brampton community for being so supportive as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, just reading a note here from the clerk. So we're dealing with the motion now that Councillor Medeiros has put forward. I just want to verify there's no other questions for Amal, because we're actually dealing with the motion now. Is that correct?
Mr.
Yes.
Chair, Councillor Fortini is on the list as well.
So Councillor Fortini, do you want to speak to the motion or ask Amal a question?
I was going to just thank him the same, but I wanted to ask, first of all, thank you, Amal, and David from the Brampton President. I think when we were talking the other night, and I talked to David as a president, they were looking more for, I don't know if we have to put in the motion, more for a park, because like Chinguzi Park or Gage Park, something big, because when they do a festival, then we have a bylaw, they're only allowed so many people. So if they ever want to have a day to come over to celebrate or look at the monument, they don't want to have an area where a park is very small. So they were asking for Chinguzi Park. I know where you said they're going to work with staff. I don't know if we have to put it in the motion. you know, and I understand what they're saying because, you know, you don't want to have 200 people coming that day and then say, hey, this little parkette is too small. So I think they were asking for Jacuzzi Park.
Yeah.
And I think you were on the call there that night with them.
Okay, Councillor Medeiros, would you take that as a friendly amendment to specify Shinkuzi Park?
Yeah, and I appreciate Councilor Fortini and Mayor Brown for prescripting it. The only concern, and I'm fine. The only concern I have is if staff. I'm not sure what the impacts would be with Ching Park. I don't know the overall, so that's why I thought, you know, we can maybe put some language where, you know, to the priority would be Ching Park, but you know, there might be consideration staff need to report back. So that's my only concern, but I'm fine with allowing that amendment.
Councillor Fortini, any other comments?
No, that's it. I just want to thank them all and David. You know, they've been. I remember since I met them, you know, they've been a very great asset to our city. And I know David every year, he never even forgets my birthday. That's how loyal these people are and hardworking they are. And you know, just want to thank what they did. And you know, and if staff could work with them on Jacuzzi Park, that would be fine. And if they have to find somewhere else, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So maybe the motion could be if preferably Shinkuzi Park, if feasible, and that way there's language that is, you know, they give discretion. Seeing no other speakers, just a few comments here, Councilor Medeiros. I've got some messages from the Tamil community, just on some housekeeping nature. The monument was destroyed on January 6th, not January 11th. So if we can have that as a friendly amendment to change the date to January 6th.
Yep, that's fine.
Mayor, I was on too. Can you, but you can finish and then just let me.
Another one is I'm told the census data is incorrect, but the 4,500. So that the language spoken, it's 17,000 with Tamil ancestry, 11,000 who speak Tamil in the mother tongue is Tamil in Brampton. So maybe because there's three different figures, maybe we just don't even state the number. We just say Brampton is home to a large Tamil diaspora, because there seems to be different interpretations on the number.
That's fine.
But it's certainly more than 4,500. Okay. Was that Councillor Singh who said he wanted to speak as well?
Yeah, I want to thank Ethan as well, and the Brampton Tamil Association, the Tamil Seniors Association, and CCT, everybody who helped out. I was going to add that change you just well, I got a couple of messages, but seeing you addressed it, I'm in full support of the motion. Thanks to Councilor Medeiros for bringing it, and thank you for letting all the council second it. Thank you.
Okay, and I just want to again thank Councilor Medeiros for this idea. You know, beautiful idea, Councilor Medeiros. I can tell you, as someone that was the first member of Parliament to speak about the genocide in the House of Commons, and who went to the Geneva, actually with Mohan from the Brampton Tamil Association, to speak on Canada's behalf during these difficult days. I've made a lot of friends around the world that were involved in exposing this genocide, and I have to say, you know, we were getting emails to my office from France, from Norway, around the world. People were noticing this initiative, and it's the brainchild of Councilor Medeiros. So thank you for that initiative. And I think this is going to be a great reminder that while some regimes can rewrite history and engage in revisionist history, that's not what we do in Canada. You can't rewrite bloodstained history. In Canada, we remember, we learn from, and we educate. And proud to support this, and I think it's wonderful that all of council is seconding. So is there anyone opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. This takes us to